I'm Lucy Alexander with the AIChE Institute for Sustainability, and I'm here at the 2015 Carbon Management Technologies Conference with Dr. Julio Friedmann, who is the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Office of Fossil Energy at DOE. Dr. Friedmann, can you comment on the question, is CCUS still important?
Thank you, Lucy, and thank you for the interview. I'm delighted to be here. CCS is actually more important than ever. We have made incredible progress on climate change as a globe over the past many years. We have dramatically increased the deployment of clean and renewable energy. We've greatly improved the efficiency of end use, of vehicles and buildings and all these things. And yet it is clear we are very far from where we need to be. At the same time as we've made this progress, we've also seen an increase in the use of fossil energy worldwide, in coal and gas and in oil, and that's projected to grow. From what we've learned in the deployment of clean and renewable energy and what we see as an unambiguous market trend of increased fossil energy use, it makes CCS the most essential technology for achieving deep emissions reductions. And this is a conclusion of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Their last Working Group 3 report suggested and found that without CCS, the cost of hitting a deep target of emissions reduction would more than double. The cost would increase 140% to hit the same target. And the reason why is because in some markets, CCS is going to be the least cost solution. So if you want to use a different technology to achieve that same goal, in many markets, it will necessarily be more expensive. We've also learned enough now to know that CCS is not only viable, but in fact works well. We have seen projects stand up around the world in industrial sector and power sector, and CCS works. So now all we're haggling over is how to deploy, how much money to put into it, how much can we reduce the cost, how much can we improve the efficiency of carbon capture. And these are very good questions to have, but ultimately we know that we can't achieve deep emissions reduction targets. We can't achieve our climate goals without it.
Thank you. And I guess it varies internationally from location to location, but what are some of the biggest challenges to implementation?
Well, I've been very pleased to see an uptick of interest internationally in this technology and in this topic. We now have projects in Canada, in the United States, but also in the Middle East, a project in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. It's a project that's about to start in the United Kingdom, a very large power project. And importantly, a project that's just been announced in China as part of the accord between President Xi and President Obama. We believe that there will be more deployment in Asia, not just in China, but also in the ASEAN countries, in Vietnam and Malaysia and Indonesia. Ultimately, this will also happen in South Africa, in India, in Brazil, and other countries. In order to do that, many groups have recommended stronger policy support for CCS. We've seen strong policy support for efficiency, and we've seen strong policy support for renewables in many parts of the world with many different kinds of policies. Now, in order to get CCS deployed and to reap the benefits of cost reduction through deployment, we just need to support the policy to make the financing of projects possible. That could come in many forms. Every country is looking at it themselves in their own way, but we actually have a very strong agreement that came out of the Carbon Sequestration Leadership Forum this year in Riyadh, in which 25 countries signed a joint communique recommending to their governments, as ministers, stronger policy support for CCS. We have seen this coming from the United Nations, both the Framework Convention for Climate Change, but also from the Economic Council of Europe. They've recommended much stronger policy support for CCS. The International Energy Agency, the World Economic Forum, and the World Energy Council have done the same. And so, however different countries seek to support CCS, we hope they'll choose to do so in a way that not only works for their country, but do so with a certain amount of gusto to really get the technology built and deployed and working at scale.
Well, thank you very much for your comment, Dr. Friedmann.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.